Hi, this is Privateer Station, and today we bring you day 306, trying to catch you with a couple issues that we missed. This one aired originally on December 26th. As usual, between Olexiy Arestovich, advisor to the Office of the President of Ukraine, Lieutenant Colonel, and Mark Feygin, Russian opposition politician. Enjoy. Dear friends, glad to see you all on Feigin Live. It is Monday, December 26th. Time is 1 minute past 10 in Kiev and 1 minute past 11 in Moscow, and we're starting another stream, day 306, with Olexiy Arestovich. Glad to see you, Olexiy. Likewise, Mark. We already have 61,000 watching us and over 16,000 clicked the like button. I understand everybody congrats with past Christmas. Do not forget to please subscribe, share the links to this stream, click that bell button, and subscribe to Feigin Live, Olexiy Arestovich, and Privateer Station if you are listening or watching that in English language. Alright, also at the end of the stream, not now, we'll announce about our plans regarding help to Mikhail Saakashvili. I think this is important, and this is another cause to share links to that stream in your social media and other places wherever you discuss politics and latest events. Alright, let's start with Engels, Olexiy. The sequel, I think it's not even a sequel, it's probably a mini-series already. Oh, Mark, what happened? As far as I heard, Olexiy, there were some pilots killed in one of the buildings. Mark, do you know any more details? No, Olexiy, I only heard that something boomed and exploded. And maybe you can share a little more details with us. I think, Mark, they're chronically unlucky. Today there was supposed to be a massive strike, another missile strike on Kiev and Ukraine, and I think the loss of people, lack of proper qualified personnel who probably were drafted, might have caused to another man-made disaster. And evil tongues are saying that the center of flight control is completely destroyed with all officers who were on duty. And as a result, 10 planes went into hiding on further bases further deeper in Russia. And perhaps that's why the strike was cancelled. So you think that is related? Oh yeah, I totally think it is related. It was ready otherwise for today. As far as the evil tongues are saying. The evil tongues are posting about it, right, Olexiy? Oh, yeah, they are. Okay, so let's wait for more events to unfold. Today, Russian side stated that FSB has liquidated a group of 4 Ukrainian military diversion intel group in Bryansk region, and even named names. In Bryansk region, have you seen that news, Olexiy? Yes, I have. Okay, so let's not talk about the plans and what they were doing there, but are these real people? I don't know, Mark. I can neither confirm nor deny this information. Also, things happening on the territory of Russian Federation are the responsibility of Russian Federation. I understand, but they are giving names of these people and their call signs, and in the video that we saw, they were wearing winter uniform. Mark, you need to understand where I work. Everything I say will be translated, will be printed, as the advisor to the Office of the President stated that. There is not enough information coming about this event, and as of now, I'm not ready to comment that. We are not capable to confirm that thing happened. Okay, 5 minutes in, 105,000 watching us. Let's talk about the situation on the fronts. There is a lot of fighting near Ugledar, and they're trying to build up their defense near Tokmak and Melitopol. There were several good hits by our artillery on the left bank of Dnieper River in Kherson. The shelling, I think it was the day before yesterday, when they blew up a few things in the city and there were several dead and wounded. So, I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing it. Is it the day before yesterday or yesterday? I think it was the day before yesterday, Olexiy. Okay. So, today we sort of avenged that. We destroyed at least 100 Russian military men and a bunch of equipment. These are at least the ones confirmed. There's probably more. And near Bakhmut, Russian chats are screaming that Ukraine has some success. Our general command is not commenting that, and I can only say that indeed we probably pushed them further out of Bakhmut. Regardless, situation is very difficult, yet controllable, and it's very hot between Bakhmut and Solidar. That's the top part of that map we're showing. Yesterday there were some screams in the chat that Ukrainians are taking Kremenaya. This is near the red line protrusion up above on this map, and no, our command does not confirm that yet, and it doesn't look like we're taking Kremenaya yet as well. There is no confirmation about that. No official confirmations, at least. Kharkov was again shelled today, unfortunately. And that's all, right? Speaking about the fronts. Yeah, these are the most notable events. There was that sensation that was announced on the front that didn't turn out to be near Kremenaya. And some motion near Bakhmut. That's all, really. And these are not things that we're discussing from Ukraine sources. We're discussing the sources in Russia, so we can afford to comment on that. All right, I get it, Olexiy. Today, there was what they called an informal summit of Commonwealth of Independent States in St. Petersburg, Russia. They all gathered there. Lukashenko, main figures from Central Asia, Azerbaijan, Armenia were represented. Let's discuss that. Putin is demonstrating unseen activity. In the last half a year, they've been gathering in all kinds of different formats. In Samarkand, in Mutual Protection Org, Eurasian orgs. There is a mad activity in relation to the ex-USSR allies of Putin, or at least the ones who are neutral. And he's trying to pull everybody into something, doing something with him, to some gas union he was calling Kazakhstan, and now he is making some efforts in direction of Armenia and Azerbaijan, trying to play the situation that he can manage it. Regarding the Lachin area, so on the verge, on the precipice of New Year, all that's happening, how does that look? Is he compensating with this activity for lack of bigger issues or problems in Ukraine? Well, first of all, Mark, he lost international influence and he's isolated to a big degree. He has to rely on the resources he has, and Commonwealth countries are partially dependent on Russia, so he is leveraging that. He is also demonstrating towards the end of the year, in absence of his usual federal message, he's trying to show, first of all, to his constituents that he's not fully isolated and that he is, let's put it this way, that people are still shaking his hand. And right now it was, they were celebrating, 100 years of USSR? So he might be showing that in such an unorthodox way, but USSR is still pretty much alive. Everybody's still meeting and shaking hands, and Moscow is still the leader. But this is somewhat of a blurred, but still a message towards that story, that narrative. So he's trying still to reach the goals he has, but his resources are very limited, and he indeed flushed down the toilet everything that he had accumulated in previous 20 years in power over the course of this year. Okay, I get it, Olexiy. What Peskov stated, Putin's spokesperson, the problem with fertilizers is not fully resolved yet, although there are significant achievements, and United Nations negotiators, Russian negotiators there, did a tremendous work, but there is still more to do. That was the answer of Kremlin representative to comment on the words of Turkey, Erdogan, that Moscow and Turkey will undertake some steps to begin the export of Russian fertilizer. So look here, they've been connecting these fertilizer trade deals with a ton of different things before. With Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, which kind of faded into obscurity. Then they were talking about that ammonia pipe through Odessa. Do you see anything loosening, any sanctions being lifted in regards to fertilizers? There were a lot of conversations about it, and as a contrast, I would say Ukrainian grain is still being exported, right? Russian grain is still not. So this is my attempt to look at the fertilizer as well. Despite all the noise, despite all the comments, they have not really made any success, and we don't know if they will be successful. This is somewhat a dark story, and it is hard to talk about any serious perspectives. But I can give you another new piece of news. Today, our security office reviewed 1,600 or about 1,500 people from Russian security community, Russian intel community, that are being sanctioned as well. And I should remind our viewers that our sanctions in Ukraine usually serve as precursor to the bigger sanctions slapped on them internationally. So our new sanctions are basically outlining, 1,400 people as new candidates for personal sanctions. So that's another interesting development. We have close to 300,000 watching us, 86,000 click the like button. I continue to ask you to share links to that stream and subscribe to Feigin Live, to Olexiy Arestovich, and to the Privateer Station if you have not done that yet. All right, Olexiy, the sanctions, personal sanctions, are an interesting question. We were expecting that to intensify. After Zelensky's visit to the United States, is Yermak-Makfol Commission going to expedite their work, or everything is pretty much the same? Well, if we are watching the Telegram channel of Andrei Yermak, he did mention that there are significant sanctions being prepared for Russian nuclear, and they have 200 billion in foreign contracts right now. And of course, the situation is unacceptable because these $200 billion will be used against Ukraine, will be used to finance this war. And of course, that's why we're bringing up this matter, saying, well, let's stop letting Russia build nuclear facilities around the world and fulfill their contracts. Let's sanction them. Today also there is another serious initiative that already was leaked to the press, so we can talk about it. That Ukraine is starting once again the fire on the Russian Federation and its presence in the United Nations. Still, if you read the Charter of United Nations, among the members of Security Council listed, there is Soviet Union. There is no Russian Federation. So they never changed that. They never formally entered the United Nations as the proper country. That same situation or similar situation happened with China. The mainland China was proving for 20 years their difference and their right to be China in United Nations instead of Taiwan. So they right now, Russia is misbehaving, is violating everything, propaganda of aggressive war, mass murder of civilians, attacks on the neighbor country, with annexation of territories, and this is one of the black spots on the face of this organization. So we are starting a serious procedure, according to the statement of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we'll continue pushing it until we succeed.
Ну, вот мы с тобой предварительно обсуждали эту тему, поскольку она появилась за несколько дней.
We have discussed this matter somewhat before, and do you think it has any supporters with bigger countries? We did, Mark, indeed, and a lot depends upon the procedure, upon how it is organized. And I would say this push may have good legs, so let's see how it unfolds. Many countries and many subjects are not taking position until it is clean what's going to happen. So it will take some preliminary work, some preparatory work to get it to move, but let's observe. Okay, got it, Olexiy. Another matter of supply of different military articles to Ukraine related to Zelensky's visit to the United States, and very often Patriot systems are mentioned in this regard. Let's discuss that. When do you think Patriots can appear in Ukraine? Russian propaganda is flooding their media sphere with all kinds of comments on that. Mark, Patriots is a secret, is a federal secret here, so we cannot fully disclose when and how, but I can only say that they will be here in very short terms. Okay, short term. Other armaments? There is a lot, there is a lot in that package, and they'll be supplied according to whatever plan exists, and we'll see them on the battlefield. That'll be the best time to discuss it. All right, I was just curious if there was any additional information, Olexiy. So, after unknown people shot up for no apparent reason a Russian airbase for strategic bombers in Engels, they are stating that unknown number was withdrawn to a military airfield, Ukrainian. That's the name of it, Ukrainian. So they withdrew 10 planes. That means that there is nothing is left in Engels. They had 18, 10 left. So a couple are on rotation, so they might still have 8 to 10 planes. Okay, so I see there's still a lot of work to do. Yes, Mark, but at the same time, the airport is, that field is a bit useless because they just lost a flight control center. They can drop some mobile center there, but these are flights of a difficult category with difficult weather conditions, with winter, clouds, temperatures. So that may be a little more risky, and how effective that mobile center would be, it's hard to tell, but it definitely raises the risks of any activity they carry out. In any case, we can say that the damage was done, and in the current situation, that is rather hurting their side. And philosophically, fight is a competition to be faster than your opponent and to reach certain milestones before he does. So, in this case, I need to remind, we are not hitting Russian territory. But this event indeed helps us to win some time, to win some space and get a breather. It's difficult to fully estimate that explosion, but one can say that it's a very serious operation to blow up a control center for on a very secretive, one of the most important airfields for strategic bombing activities in Russia. So, just as an explanation, if it was a civilian airport, it would go fully inoperative if the control center was destroyed. But this is a military field, so they might continue doing something from it. And again, Engels has equipment, has trained people. They can move their planes to other airfields, but in order to continue strikes on Ukraine, they would still need to land on Engels to refuel, to load ammo, to get technical checks, and get up and carry out the operations. But how do you take off without any management, without any command? Of course, they can create some, as I said, put some mobile structure on the ground, or they can bring some air-based control center, but this is much extra logistics for them, which definitely is not helping. And I guess they shouldn't be smoking where they shouldn't be. Should be violating the rules. Russian news are saying that they shot a Ukrainian UAV on the approach to Engels, and as a result, because of the remnants of this UAV were falling from a significant altitude onto the territory of the airfield, 3 people were killed by the scrap metal of that UAV. So, do you think it's possible? Do you think it's even feasible what they're printing in Russia? Well, Mark, it has to be a very lucky or unlucky situation for those who died. That means that, yeah, there could be some remnants if it flies too low. But again, imagine that. So if they indeed shot it right above the airfield, this means that 3 people should be standing there right under that spot, waiting for that UAV to fall on them. And it means that either it didn't happen like that, or there were people stupidly standing out waiting for these remnants to fall on their heads, or the fragments were not too big and they shot the UAV on a higher altitude, but they were falling down with a higher velocity. And again, if they shot something over the airfield, why are the people not in a shelter? If they were in a shelter, you can just be standing at the doorway and you will not get killed. But since they lost 3 people, at least according to their statement, this probably is not true. These were not remnants of the UAV. And another thing is, there probably is no air defense system. Let's play out the hypothetical situation. So, air defense system near the airfield, they traced the unknown object, and they announced that they are tracking it now, on the approach to the airfield. What do military servicemen do? They run into shelters, they run to their positions, right? Even the one on duty at the guard station will be inside the guard station at this moment. So, in order for any of the remnants of that UAV to kill anyone, people need to be hanging out in the open. Or, since we insist that they were smoking in the wrong place, there were a lot of people who died. And they also lost the ability to control their aviation, taking off from that field. Can we presume that they're still lacking the air defense system for that airfield? Yeah, it's difficult to say what they're doing. They probably don't have enough air defense systems. They dropped a lot into Ukraine, and also there are some systems being deployed in the neighbor regions to Ukraine. They can't even, those are Belgorod and Kurskaya and Voronezhskaya regions are probably fighting with each other and shooting at each other. That's, I think, where they're losing their capacity to protect their skies. They can't even cover their troops on the field. We daily get tens of successful hits on their troops with our aviation. So the funniest part of all that story is today is the day of air defense systems of Russian Federation. I think their celebration might be a little grim. And celebration, they may get a little drunk, and weapons and the arms of drunk people may become dangerous. So oh, Olexiy, you're not painting a bright picture for them. I've been 25 minutes live. Hang on, Mark. I need to give names to the people who got who are 10, 5, and 7. Their names are Andrei, Katya, and Misha. With much love and respect, I'm sending you personal highs. And now keep thinking, after that statement, tomorrow something else goes up, right? In the Soviet years, back in the day, through the Western radio stations, there were numbers being read. Oh, you probably didn't catch it, you were little. Oh, you mean the numbers, how many people didn't get certain supplies in certain cities? No. There was the commands. Those were the actual notes sent to the spies. 5, 17, 11. Yeah, there were the days. Okay. Minister of Foreign Affairs of Kuleba suggests to hold a summit for the peace, for the formula for peace. What is that summit? So this summit is something that was proposed by our president, Zelensky, and he wanted his 2-minute reel to be publicized. As the base of this summit is our proposition to reinvent global security system. Main ideas is to finish this war with the peace treaty on our terms, but also increase the security systems that do exist in the world and strengthen them and try to address issues that we're currently facing and make them proper fit for these challenges, because today the world stopped being safe. According to the situation we are facing now, there are no systems that are keeping the world safe, and we do need to reinvent that. We need to have a significant effort put into this. You cannot just rest on your laurels after saying, okay, the world is good, because the world otherwise may slip into a decade or several decades of severe fighting and big wars. And our president, to forewarn that situation, is suggesting to create new rules in the world and create a new global unity, a new global organization that will help the world to stay secure. And the basis for it are 10 points that he suggested when he was making statement in Bali. And there were a few more interesting elements discussed to be added to it. They're not officially released yet. They're very interesting ones. But in diplomatic circles, you first need to get to certain approval behind the doors and then bring it out in the open. So that's what we're working on. There is indeed a deficit in security measures in the world, and Putin's aggression completely obliterated the earlier security systems that existed and treaties. So it might make sense to create new, and according to our preliminary data, Biden supported Zelensky's initiative. And this is the initiative to create summit. So Minister of Foreign Affairs is doing the preparatory work, announcing and preparing the real treaties and finding real supporters. A lot of countries really support our initiative, including G7. I've seen some notes that countries of G7 reviewed our proposal at their gathering, and I think we will succeed in hosting that summit with our partners. And there All countries will have to define their position, yes or no, especially if G7 and G20 support that. And we are trying to organize that with the United Nations as the higher level of platforms available on this planet. So this is basically an effort to create a new system of international security. This is a bright story. Neither United States nor China are offering anything alike today. Nobody knows much what to do now after Putin destroyed the existing security system. So Ukraine is trying to step in. Do you think Russia will partake in that? We are still working to kick Russia out of the Security Council of United Nations. These two events are connected. This is a part of that program. Yes, it is. Okay, clear. 31 minutes, we're live. All these days before New Year, people are ready to celebrate, but still we have one last topic to voice today. We indeed were bringing up the destiny of Mikhail Saakashvili for the last several days. He responded. He sent a letter through trusted people, not only to us, by the way. He turned to different authorities and he sent the conclusion of toxicologist, and we saw the statement of President Zelensky made to Georgian powers to find a way to transfer Mikhail Saakashvili for treatment to one of the European countries or to America. Zelensky basically leaves it up to Georgia to select the place. But there was no reaction from the official authorities of Georgia. I'm not saying it should have arrived immediately, but we did rely on Georgian authorities to react to our appeal, especially given the condition that Mikhail is in. Now, since there is no reaction, and we indeed were relying on the president to respond to our appeal, this is a difficult situation now. It will be difficult for him to transfer more letters because of more attention to his issue. So we're trying to create a global day to support Mikhail Saakashvili. Myself and Olexiy Arestovych are suggesting a campaign, #SaveMisha. We will be promoting it, and we call upon you all on the 4th of January, before the Orthodox Christmas in Georgia. Dear viewers, in main capitals of the world, everywhere where you're watching it from, and that's many dozens of cities, come out to Georgian embassies, as we did when we were protecting or defending Ukrainian political prisoners that were captured by Russia, with an appeal to provide additional pressure on the authorities of Georgia so that Mikhail Saakashvili would be transferred, given his heavy medical condition, to be transported to a normal hospital in one way or another to solve this problem. So on the 4th of January, we call upon everybody who can, who has time and will. And a lot of people wrote me, impressive amount of people, hundreds of you sent me different confirmations, living in different parts of the world, from Paris to Berlin. Some of you live in Tokyo, Australia, New Zealand, Washington. Please, on the 4th, between noon and 2 p.m. your time, come out with placards to Georgian embassies in all these countries. We will be giving different ways to communicate to different groups who will be coming out. Could be Georgians, Jews, Russians, anybody who wants to come out. We'll allow you guys to exchange your messages through our Telegram channels, through our other resources. We'll be commenting on that. And create groups in your social media, and let's start with this. I think such an action might give enough results. At least usually they did. very simple, dear friends. We are not interfering into internal affairs of Georgia. We are talking about rescuing a human in the matter of usual civil rights of each of humans on this planet. And I understand that court system allows to do certain things and it should be used properly, but when the person is dying from a disease, he first needs to be treated. He needs to get proper medical treatment. He's basically dying and he's not getting proper help in current situation where he is. So you may disagree with his politics, but it does make sense to at least release him and treat him before addressing his case in court. We are trying to stop, to preclude things, demonstrative destruction of a human person, of a human in prison, while trying to prosecute him. So let's separate two things. The criminal court case they are pushing against Mikhail in court, and his health and well-being. We understand that this is a sad part in history of all of the countries when people are being put behind bars and then being killed behind bars or being not provided enough medical assistance, so they die behind bars. This is a sad practice on this planet, so let's try to address it as much as we can on this example. As Mark said, let's come out and ask of the Georgian leadership to change situation in life of Mikhail Saakashvili. Once again, I repeat, 4th of January, please come out. We do expect that the more of you come, the stronger the effect will be. Again, this is a very simple action. It's not going to be difficult. Just come out and support his right to proper treatment. And try to coordinate simple placards. Save Misha. We'll post things in social media. It is very easy, but this, I assure you, will produce a colossal impression on Georgia, because right now they're in a position when it is important for her to not stir enough problems on this level. It is not even related to any internal politics of Georgia. Some are bad, others are good. No, we're only talking about the destiny of one man who needs medical help. This is not an internal affairs question of Georgia. This is a question of human rights. And human rights are not national prerogative. They have above national level. So save Misha. Yeah, so come out and let's do it together. We will touch on the subject in our next streams. Everybody, let's go work. As Chinese Mao said, the plans are defined. Let's go work, comrades. All right, see you tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. And from the privateer station, since we publish it before the new year, Happy New Year.